Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Sarita, and I have a Bath & Body Works candle for you today. It is a new candle, I believe. Orange Lily Blossom. And it's in this stunning package. I do think, well, Bath & Body Works has been asleep at the wheel, and like, who knows if they just care about anything at this point. I do have to say that this collection was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, knockout colors. As you can see, it's textured here, and it's glossy, and the lush tropical scenes with kind of the rattan like basket weave on the bottom, and then on top of it they like gave us beautiful colored lids. Just really stunning, and they're still all on the floor because everything's on the floor. Nothing has sold since January. I think this came out though in like March, I think, or something like that. Anyway, it's a tropical collection, and there were two new candles in it. There was this one, and then there was, I think, a papaya one. The papaya one was, in my opinion, the most beautiful of the beautiful 4 or 5 or whatever it was, because it was kind of orange themed, and it had this amazing parrot, or you know, one of those birds, with those tropical birds. Oh my gosh, it was so stunning. I almost brought it home just because it looked so fantastic. But honestly, the fragrance was very generic and cliche and uber sweet. I mean, like achingly Bath & Body Works sweet. It just wasn't anything that I would have wanted to burn on any level. So I didn't end up getting it. The rest of them were repackages of some kind. But this one I was, of course, interested in because I love seeing an orange blossom in the name. I know I've said this before, but I am definitely more of an orange blossom girl than a neroli girl. So orange blossom and neroli are basically the same thing. It's the same flower, but it just has to do with how the fragrance of the flower is distilled. So orange blossom, from my understanding, is a much more gentle and kind of fruity smell, and it has more to do with capturing the very smell itself, the smell that you would experience if you put your nose into the blossom, whereas neroli is kind of extracted from the floral itself into an oil, and it has, obviously it smells similarly, but kind of different. To my nose, neroli is it's a little more on the brassy side, and it is a very common addition to most sunscreens. So neroli is definitely kind of associated in a lot of our minds with sunscreen. It has like more of a harshness to it than orange blossom does. Orange blossom, like I said, a little more gentle, a little bit more fruity, a little bit more authentically botanical or floral smelling. At any rate, I saw the orange blossom, and I like lily very much as well. And so I was hoping for the best on this candle. The scent notes on it are tiger lily. Oh my gosh, I love tiger lilies. Yes, tiger lily. They don't really smell that much, but they look amazing. Tiger lily, vibrant sandalwood. I don't know that sandalwood is vibrant. I don't know if I would have used that adjective. At any rate, vibrant sandalwood and citrus waters. It's kind of bizarre, actually. So you've got lily in there, you've got sandalwood, and then you've got citrus waters. Usually when you have an orange blossom kind of fragrance, most companies do put some amount of like orange or citrus into it, kind of in the way that like cherry blossom is usually there's some sort of like cherry addition, you know? Not that orange blossoms don't smell a little bit fragrant in a fruity way anyway. Weirdly, it's got that waters in there, which kind of makes you think aquatic. And as you can see that the picture there has some water in it as well. I don't know that there is an aquatic note in this candle. Oh, there is a little something that could be interpreted as briny, a little bit salt air kind of smelling. Yeah, I could see that. And while I do think that this fragrance does go a bit more orange blossom than neroli, it still kind of has a little bit of a neroli back note to it. So the neroli up against some kind of saltish, salt water kind of note, it does kind of take you to a beachy aquatic space for sure. But I do think that there is some amount of lily here, and there has been some attempt to temper the neroli with some other florals that give it a little bit more fragility, a little bit more softness. And I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm not getting a whole lot of orange in here, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Personally, I'd like a little bit more fragrant orange peel rind kind of smell to it. They had the orange blossom candle in that one wick last year. It was so fantastic. To my knowledge, I don't know if it's ever come out in a 3-wick, but if it has not, it really, really, really needs to. That orange blossom is just gorgeous. This one isn't quite as evocatively orange blossom. Like I said, I think there's a good amount of neroli in it and some brininess. Maybe some vague aquatic mineral overtones, and the mineral up against the neroli goes a little tiny bit sunscreen. But like I said, there is still a floral softness to this, and that's got to be contributed by the lily note or whatever else they've got in it, which is not the same as neroli or orange blossom, but also is maybe not jasmine, which is probably wise because jasmine can have kind of like a little bit of a heavy, overwhelming or white floral feel to it. So like I said, I appreciate that they've tried to lighten this candle up a little bit. It's not the most authentic botanical experience, but I can't say that it smells like synthetic or goes overly sunscreen. And so I just really appreciate that a lot. It's not quite as remarkable as Orange Blossom, but it's like halfway to Orange Blossom. I burned it fine all the way down to the wick clips, very minimal sooting. I actually really enjoyed this candle. I did. I have to say that the strength and throw on it was erratic. I'll put it that way. There were many times where I burned this and I just thought I was getting nothing from it. But then there were other times that I burned it in the open concept, no less. And I felt like I was getting up to like a 6.5. Once I even thought I got to a 7, but it just wasn't consistent from top to bottom. It was kind of a, some days it performed, some days it didn't. And by performed, I just mean in terms of power. It is amazing though that I did end up burning it quite a bit in the open concept. So it didn't do so abysmally that I felt as though I had to put it in my back bedroom, or even worse, in my guest bathroom, to be able to get any kind of sense of the fragrance. And a few of the burns were actually pretty good. So yeah, I would say that if you like kind of the beachy florals, you could do far worse than this candle. Amazing packaging. It looked even more beautiful when the sun, I think there is a sun there. When the light was kind of flickering through the top of the candle, it was really, really pretty. And I don't know if you can see this, but they've tried to mimic kind of a tapestry, almost like a Southeast Asian kind of tapestry or something like that. So there's these intentional like tapestry weave like designs through it. It's just really, really beautiful. Gorgeous packaging, and looked great when it was lit, and was really a pretty good candle. It kind of burned like a 100% soy in that you were never quite sure what the volume of the candle was going to be. I didn't get that many variations of the fragrance itself though. The fragrance was the fragrance from top to bottom. This fragrance though doesn't have, it's just mid-range. It doesn't have enough sandalwood in it, frankly, to either A, cut the sweetness, or B, provide any kind of lower notes to it. And the citrus, which would give you higher notes, is very muted as well. So it's really just kind of linear right there in the middle. And like I said, it was lovely. It was lovely. It just wasn't remarkable. This is, as I said, of a couple Yankee Candles last week, just a fragrance note shy of it being something really spectacular. And I would have liked to have seen that performance in terms of strength be consistent throughout at that 6.5 or 7. And I think if it had been, I'd be talking about this in a completely different way. I'd say if you liked Tropidelic, you would probably like this. It's not quite as green as Tropidelic is, but it's in that genre. It's a bit more perfumey than like Tropidelic would have been. And like I said, if it had stayed at a 6.5 and a 7, it definitely would have performed better than Tropidelic, or at least on par with it. So there's that. I recommend it, but kind of in a weak way. The bar right now for Bath & Body Works is just so low, absolutely low, that I think this pretty much clears the bar, if you know what I mean. I know you're all gonna be looking for a candle to buy in the semi-annual sale. And I suspect that their coupons and their deals are gonna get more and more enticing as we go, because they don't really have anything exciting on the floor, even for semi-annual sale. Most of us are not repurchasing anything, and so I think they're gonna get more and more desperate as the sale goes on and start really trying to get us to like buy these candles. So you are probably going to be looking around for candles to purchase at some point here in the next couple weeks. If this is still on the floor, and it probably should be for you, you could do far worse than this Orange Lily Blossom. And it's a very nice burn for the summertime. It really is. And like I said, I do appreciate the softer take on Orange Blossom / Neroli. It really wasn't bad. So there you go. Orange Lily Blossom. Buy it for the packaging if nothing else. And that's pretty much all I've got for you. I'll link it down below. I don't really have a whole lot to say about semi-annual sale. I did buy some things like on the second day of the sale, but I didn't buy any candles. All I bought was First Sight. So, you know that men's fragrance, First Sight? I bought like 4 of the sprays, the body sprays. They look like Axe body sprays. They kind of smell like it too, because they're very old school 90s aerosol can kind of sprays. My sister and I were talking about this because we really like that First Sight fragrance. It's kind of like Baccarat Rouge with some masculine overtones to it. We both really like it. She was like, when you spray that, do you have to hold your breath? I'm like, yes, I do. I spray it and it's like Aquanet or something. Like, you have to hold your breath, and you're very conscious of the fact that you're probably like killing brain cells. I don't know what aerosol they have used in this particular spray. And I don't usually have that issue with Bath & Body Works body sprays, even the masculine or the cologne ones. But man, there is something in that First Sight. You've just got to hold your breath. Anyway, I already have like 4 of them, but they were $4, and so I just bought all 4 of them. I'll give a couple to my sister. You know, I really like that. I don't think we're going to be seeing a whole lot of First Sight. That was a big marketing misstep for them to have marketed their first really successful Baccarat Rouge dupe as a masculine fragrance, but we've talked about that ad nauseum. I did buy 4 of those, and then I bought like one of the aromatherapy body washes. I think it was the Himalayan, the very wood-like one, because it was $3.99, and I was like, yeah, go ahead, why not, you know? I really do like the aromatherapies, and especially the recent aromatherapies. Oh, the Rainforest one is really good, but it hadn't gone 75% off yet, so I'm watching it. So some of the recent aromatherapies have actually been fairly good. A little more stripped down than we've seen from aromatherapy the last like 6 or 7 years. So I'm really happy about that. But I didn't buy any candles. I did smell the pretzel candle, and I thought it smelled good, you know. I thought it smelled sweet and cinnamony and sugary and toasty and baked, and I thought it was nice. I'm not a gourmand person, so I wasn't gonna bring it home, but I thought it smelled good. I don't know how it performs. But man, what a dud in terms of, semi-annual sale. But to be honest, the way that the year has gone for Bath and Body Works, I don't know that I was expecting a whole lot. That said, it just seems like there are so many missed opportunities for this semi-annual sale. And I know you've probably watched Ken from Candle Channel and maybe All About Candles with Greg, because they both talked about semi-annual, and I don't really have a whole lot to add, except to say that I don't know what they were doing with the whole Christmas in July nonsense. I think that the concept is quite good, because more and more people are kind of celebrating quote unquote Christmas in July. And since it is going to be July very soon, semi-annual goes with that. They're looking for a few candles to bring out that are not on the floor already, et cetera, all that kind of thing. I can understand it. And some people, especially the Christmas people, they sometimes like to do Christmas year round. So I don't think it's a bad concept. I really don't, because they already have a ton of tropical candles on the floor. I don't know if they could do more in that direction. So I thought it made sense, but I think you have to be thoughtful about the candles that you bring out for a Christmas in July. And these weren't thoughtful at all. I mean, if I was thinking about a Christmas in July moment, I would be thinking to myself, I think I literally did think to myself, well, it's not going to be like a deep Christmas, they're not going to do fresh balsam. What did I know? Yes, that is exactly what they're doing. They gave us fresh balsam. There is literally nothing in July that should indicate that fresh balsam should come out. They've got all kinds of different Christmas candles that are not particularly holiday smelling that they could have brought out at this moment. I mean, for sure. I think that snowflake one, for instance, one of their snowflake ones, not the strawberry one, but there's another snowflake one that I think would have been fine. They've got a lot of holiday candles that are not really true holiday. This is your moment to do them. And if you want to develop a new candle for semi-annual sale, you totally can in the vein of the holiday season, but maybe let it have some unexpected, summer mashup feel to it. And I know that this has been done before and it's a little bit cliche, but you could definitely do a Christmas in the Caribbean and do a coconut rum with a good dusting of nutmeg and cinnamon or something like that, I mean, that would be a great candle. Speaking of which, wouldn't this be a great moment to bring out Palo Santo Sands, which is my own concept of Palo Santo with coconut, right? I mean, but at the very least, what they could have done for semi-annual sale, regardless of the Christmas in July thing, is to bring out Summer Boardwalk and Waffle Berry Cone in a 3-wick. I mean, I think they did that last year, at least with Berry Waffle Cone. But there's been a lot of lamenting, from the crowd, because we see Summer Boardwalk in a single 1-wick, but now we're not sure if we're going to get Summer Boardwalk this season. And that doesn't seem right. Let semi-annual sale be the splashy moment when, at least for a few weeks, we've got Summer Boardwalk on, the display. Surely that has to be better for them than fresh balsam. Surely. And I agree with Kent that favorite 10 body cares or whatever else is just a complete bust. I mean, honestly, they all 10 smell almost exactly the same because it's just a very heavy Bath and Body Works shower gel kind of smell on all of them with various different nuances. The one that I liked the best and I thought smelled different than the rest was the chocolate amber one, the cocoa amber. I thought that was really nice. And I would have loved to have seen that in some other kinds of formats. It kind of reminds me of the genre of cocoa roasted chestnuts, for instance. It was really nice. I didn't get anything from it, or buy anything from it. But yeah, I mean, that was nice. I don't know. It's just really bad. I'm just kind of assuming right now and resigning myself to the fact that Bath & Body Works is just not doing anything this year. This is their off year. And I don't know if it's because of economic financial uncertainty. I mean, a lot of companies are feeling that and are very nervous about, continued tariffs, continued, just, you know, economic climate, you know. I get that, I do. But like I said, if you're gonna bring candles out and you're gonna pour them and they're gonna have a summery theme, why are you bringing out fresh balsam? Like, you're also stealing thunder from your Christmas and holiday season, which is probably only about 2 months away, right? No. If you're gonna pour candles for semi-annual, like, be more thoughtful about it. I don't think that it's a money issue as to like some of the really bad choices that Bath and Body Works is making right now. That's kind of an FU to like the consumer, and I don't get it. So there's that. I don't know what else to say to you. I mean, I'll probably go back in, you know, in 2 weeks or so and just kind of see if there's boxes in the back that have been brought out, you know, and will be something else. But a lot of you have mentioned that online it's just a lot of like generic Christmas stuff, weirdly, that seems like it maybe didn't sell in the last semi-annual sale. Just things are not looking good for that company. So I hope that they're saving money right now. That's the only thing I can say. God bless. I hope you're saving money, because next year you got to compensate for how bad this year is. That is for sure. That is 100%. So at any rate, if you're looking for a candle, I do recommend Orange Lily Blossom. It's not brilliant, but you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. That's all I've got for you, my friends. I've got the Tomato Off the Vine candle that I need to review for you guys. I'll probably do that this week. And then I have a couple Yankees too, but heading toward July real fast. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.